Employee burnout just hit an all-time high. We're talking 11-year lows here. But here's what nobody's talking about.
Whoa, hang on. All-time high. Let's maybe tap the brakes a bit there. I mean, the numbers are definitely, well, they're not great. But calling it a total collapse might be skipping over some of the underlying stuff.
Welcome to Monarch's AI Cast, where we discuss various topics relating to organizational health, leadership, and workplace wellness. And today, yeah, we're diving deep into what I'd absolutely call a crisis.
Or maybe a really critical opportunity, a chance to finally tackle issues that have been, let's be honest, simmering for a long, long time in our workplaces. Kind of how I see it.
Okay, whether you're a manager looking around wondering, why does my team seem completely checked out? Or maybe you're an employee just feeling burnt out, frustrated. Stick around to the end. You're going to learn. And frankly, you might be a bit shocked by what the data says and maybe what we haven't been focusing on.
hmm You'll learn the 4 proven strategies that, yeah, really can turn around even the most disengaged teams, and why most managers are probably doing their one-on-ones. Well, completely wrong. Plus, the real reason why your best people might be mentally checking out. So if you're leading a team, you're going to find out what they actually need from you right now.
And if you're an employee,
If you're an employee, you'll get a clearer picture of what's really going on and, importantly, how you can start advocating for something better. Trust me, by the end of this deep dive, you'll have a completely different take on workplace engagement. Thinking shifts from just the problem to the potential.
okay, let's really get into this then.
Uh-huh.
We've been looking at employee engagement data for ages, right? Our sources, like Gallup, they remind us back in 2019, for a hot second, engagement in the US actually ticked up, hit 35%. They called it a record high.
35%.
Yeah, 35. That was the peak. But here's what gets me, what really stands out. Even then, at that so-called record, the problem wasn't solved, not even close. More than half the workforce was still unengaged, even at our supposed best.
Yeah, that context is important.
So when the Q1 2024 review drops and shows an 11-year low, that's not just a little dip. It feels like a systemic, almost catastrophic decline.
Yeah.
Like we're not just sliding, we've actually hit, well, maybe rock bottom.
Catastrophic is, it's a really strong word. Look, the numbers are low, undeniably low right now. But I'd argue it's maybe more of a post-pandemic adjustment, not a complete system failure.
An adjustment.
Well, think about it. Yes, the sources are clear. Waiting out the pandemic low won't work. It's not just going to magically bounce back. But this low point, it isn't just a sign of failure. It's also this urgent, unavoidable, like flashing red light, a call to action. It's forcing organizations, finally, to take engagement seriously, to make changes they probably should have made years ago, but, kept putting off.
But see, that's exactly what worries me. The source explicitly says waiting out the pandemic low won't work. That screams to me this isn't some, gentle adjustment we can just weather. It's not just a COVID hangover. It feels like a deep systemic problem that's been festering under the surface, and now, bang, it's exposed. It needs immediate, real solutions, not just hoping we adjust. We've been neglecting this stuff for years, and now we're paying the price.
Okay, I hear the concern about how deep this goes. I really do. But if we try and connect this to the bigger picture, this low point, it's not only about the fall, it's also this incredible, maybe unprecedented opportunity to finally engage the huge group you mentioned, the majority, who are already unengaged back in 2019.
So you're saying the worse it gets, the better the opportunity?
In a way, yes. If over half the workforce felt disconnected even when things were supposedly good, imagine the potential now. When the need is so painfully obvious, this low, yeah, it's tough. But it's also a catalyst. It's forcing an evolution in connection. It has to.
Okay, well, catalyst, catastrophe, whatever we call it. Our sources seem to agree on one thing. There are these 4 main factors that can create a high development culture and, hopefully boost engagement. And this is where it gets real, right? These aren't just nice ideas.
Exactly. These are the pillars.
Mhm.
And the first one is prioritizing organizational purpose.
Mm.
And I mean, genuinely prioritizing it. Sounds simple, maybe,
Yeah.
but leaders have to convey a real sense of purpose and inspire that connection to the mission.
Uh-huh.
And what's really key here, it's not just some memo from the CEO. It has to be integrated, like at every single level. Top leadership sets the vision, sure, but then middle managers, they have to translate that into actual team goals.
Mm.
And then individuals need help connecting their daily tasks, their own sense of purpose, to that bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's about making the everyday grind feel like it matters.
Okay, let's unpack that. Purpose. Seriously, isn't that the ultimate corporate buzzword? Another motivational poster, the one with the eagle soaring saying, "Our purpose is synergistic value creation."
Uh-huh. I know the ones you mean.
Do employees actually buy that? Does it really connect, or is it just, lip service, something they trot out at the all hands meeting until the next quarterly results make everyone forget about it? What's the actual tangible impact? Beyond the mission statement plaque in the lobby, how do we make sure it's not just checking a box?
It becomes real when it's lived daily, not just preached. It's not the poster, you're right. It's the constant message from leadership, yes. But critically, it's managers translating it into actionable goals. It's that daily conversation where a manager helps an employee see, okay, this task you're doing, here's how it connects to the bigger mission. Here's why it matters beyond just getting it done.
Give me an example.
Okay, a software developer isn't just, banging out code. They're building the tool that helps, say, a nonprofit reach more donors. Or a customer service rep isn't just handling calls. They're solving problems that keep critical systems running for, I don't know, hospitals. That direct line of sight, that's where the meaning comes from. That creates significance.
All right, all right. We're talking about real impact, daily connections. Let's move to number two. Choosing a coach mindset over a boss mindset. Sounds great, sounds aspirational, but is it actually doable?
It's absolutely crucial. And yes, it's doable. It takes work, no doubt. But to really find and grow employee strengths, leaders have got to shift. Move away from that old school, top-down, I'm the boss, do what I say model
Yeah.
to a coaching approach.
Easy to say.
It means breaking down some really ingrained beliefs about what leadership even is, and then actively rewriting those scripts. For new managers, sure, but also for the experienced ones. Think about what that looks like day to day. Setting goals with people, not just for them. Giving feedback that's actually useful, specific, aimed at growth. Not just pointing out flaws. And using delegation as a chance to teach, to develop skills, not just offload work. Managers can change. They have to, really, if they want teams that are engaged and, frankly, thriving.
Wait, what? Hold on. Most managers are, let's be honest, hopeless. Breaking down established beliefs, rewriting scripts. You think these deep-seated boss mindsets, the ones baked in by decades of command and control thinking, can just be magically fixed with a workshop or two?
It's not magic, it takes commitment.
I mean, come on, we've all heard the horror stories, the micromanagers breathing down your neck, the bosses who only see numbers, not people, the ones who actively block development. For so many employees, their direct manager is the single biggest reason they're burnt out or looking for the door. The idea of transforming that whole layer of management into nurturing coaches, it seems.
Well, wildly optimistic. To put it mildly, can most managers really make that leap? Or are we just talking about a lucky few?
Look, it's not about being nurturing in some fluffy way. It's about being effective, leading in a way that gets better results through your people, not in spite of them. And yes, okay, it takes consistent training. It needs ongoing support from the top. It requires real accountability. But it is possible. And honestly, it's necessary.
Necessary, maybe. Possible for most. I'm still skeptical. When managers learn how to spot strengths, how to give feedback that actually helps people grow, how to empower their teams, they often see the benefits themselves. Their teams perform better, people stick around longer, even their own job gets easier, more rewarding. That old command and control thing, clearly not working anymore. The engagement numbers scream that at us. Yeah. The key thing here is it's a skill. Coaching is a skill. Like any leadership skill, it can be learned, developed, practiced. Especially if the organization truly commits, provides the tools, the training, the time.
Which kind of leads us into number three, encouraging open communication. Our sources say this is key for that high development culture, lets managers share best practices, boosts engagement. Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, open lines of communication, vital, essential. When information flows freely, not just down, but up, sideways, peer-to-peer. Yeah, managers learn from each other, teams feel connected, problems get spotted early, often before they blow up. It builds trust, it builds transparency. Without it, you get silos, resentment, disengagement. It's foundational.
Okay, but here's where I think it gets really interesting. If communication is so critical, so foundational, is remote work actually killing engagement? Because Gallup found, and I quote, individuals who are most likely to have dropped in terms of engagement were the ones who likely felt the most disconnected, such as employees who worked exclusively from home or those who could work remotely but chose to work exclusively from the office. That sounds pretty damning for remote work, doesn't it? Seems like it directly contradicts the whole flexibility is king idea.
Not necessarily. You have to dig into the nuance there. It's not remote work itself that's inherently the villain. It's the lack of deliberate, enhanced, intentional communication and connection in that remote setting.
So it's not the where, it's the how.
Exactly. Remote work, when it's done right, when it's managed thoughtfully, it can actually save engagement. It offers flexibility, autonomy, maybe better work-life balance, things people really value. But, and this is the big but, it requires more deliberate effort on communication, not less. You can't just assume connection will happen like it might sometimes in an office. Companies need to actively invest in tools, in strategies, in virtual team building, in clear communication norms.
So the companies that just send everyone home with a laptop and hope for the best, they're the ones seeing the drop.
That's likely a big part of it. What that Gallup finding really shows, I think, is that remote work ruthlessly exposes pre-existing weaknesses in communication. It forces leaders to be way more intentional about connecting their people. So the key insight isn't remote work kills communication. It's remote work demands better, more proactive, more creative communication.
Okay, fair point. It's not the environment, it's the execution. I can see that. Which brings us nicely to number 4, and this is one I think gets a lot of lip service, focusing on accountability. The source says leaders must invest more energy in hiring exceptional managers and holding managers accountable for maintaining high levels of employee engagement. But then right after that, it says this can be difficult without tools to assist leaders monitor their own progress and team well-being.
Hmm.
So let me get this straight. We need accountability, but it's hard without tools. What does that actually mean on the ground? Companies will throw a pizza party to boost morale, but they won't actually invest in the tools needed for real accountability. Is this just another corporate platitude, another empty promise?
No, absolutely not. Or at least it doesn't have to be. That's a cynical take. Understandable, maybe, given history. But what it really means is that good modern tools do exist now.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely crucial if you're serious about accountability and actually improving engagement. We're talking way beyond just the dreaded annual review or a quick check-in now and then.
Like what kind of tools?
Well, our sources emphasize things like yearly comprehensive engagement surveys, like Monarch's organizational health and effectiveness profile, to get that baseline read across the company. But maybe even more important is the ongoing support, the real-time data. Tools like Monarch's Leader Relationship Management, their LRM, and the Integrated 1.1 tool. They give leaders actual insights right now into how their people are doing, sentiment, workload, development.
So spying software.
No,
Yeah.
it's visibility software. It lets managers see who's thriving, sure, but also critically who might be struggling, who's showing signs of disengagement before it becomes full-blown burnout. It allows them to step in, provide support, have the right conversation when it matters. That's proactive. That's actionable accountability. It's not just tracking numbers for the sake of a report.
But are these tools really effective, or are they just another layer, another dashboard for managers to stare at instead of, actually talking to their team like human beings? Does it just feel like more surveillance from the employee side? I've seen plenty of tools add bureaucracy, not benefit.
They're effective precisely because they empower managers to have better, more informed, more meaningful conversations, not fewer. It's not tracking clicks or counting emails. It's about seeing patterns, identifying needs so the support can be targeted. It's proactive. If the data shows someone's workload is spiking or their sentiment is dipping, that prompts a conversation, a check-in. Hey, I noticed X, what's going on? How can I help? It's about course correcting before it's too late.
So the tool enables the human connection, doesn't replace it.
Exactly. The key insight is, real accountability isn't about blame or punishment. It's about giving leaders the visibility and the support they need to proactively build engagement and stop burnout in its tracks. It transforms data into meaningful action, into human connection. It's a cornerstone for building that high development culture we keep talking about.
Okay, so pulling this all together, we've got this undeniable, pretty steep drop in engagement. We see the huge challenges in turning that around, and there's this urgent need for a real shift in leadership, in culture. And we have to remember, like we said at the start, even when engagement was at its peak, more than half the workforce still felt disconnected. So this isn't some brand new crisis, maybe
Right.
just one that's finally gotten too loud to ignore.
Exactly. And if we connect it all back, it's not just about gloomy stats or pointing fingers. It's about figuring out how to create workplaces where people can actually thrive, where work has meaning, where managers act like coaches, where communication flows openly, and where accountability actually helps people grow instead of just making them anxious. Knowing this stuff is one thing, right? But applying it, That's the
Like
challenge.
strategies
The
exist.
strategies exist, they're proven, implementing them, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But given where engagement is now,
Mm-hmm.
organizations just can't afford not to try. That potential we talked about,
Yeah.
unleashing the energy of that massive group of currently unengaged people, it's right there, waiting.
Which really brings up a crucial question for you listening right now. Whether you're leading a team or you're part of one, how is your perspective on workplace engagement going to shift after hearing all this? And maybe more importantly, what's one step, even a small one, you can take? Maybe just one conversation to start advocating for that high development culture right where you are.
Thanks for listening to Monarch's AI Cast. For more insights on leadership and organizational health, check out leadwithmonarch.com.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. Maybe share this deep dive with your colleagues or your team. Until next time, keep leading with purpose.